So I want to call the names of folks who will be speaking. And if you could, please come toward the front now, because we have limited time. People have 2 minutes. Take some more time, we will, but we have 2 minutes. Michael Johnson. And I know some of the elders are not going to talk or stand. Michael Johnson. Bring chairs to the front. All you volunteers, if you could bring chairs to the front. Michael Johnson. Sundiata Tate. Sundiata Tate. Sundiata Tate. Kevin Twin Orange. Kevin Twin Orange. Daryl Sam Ransom. G2's little brother Matt. Brother Matt. Rodney Droopy Walker. Soldier Denise Williams. I know some of these people are busy, but please come to the front. Jerry Silva. Olatunji Shomari. Sukari Finley. Sankara in the house? I didn't see it. Everybody's welcome, but some people are not welcome. Not the other taco. Then taco Owens. And we have recorded statements from Akanyele Umoja and Watani Tayahimbi. Michael Johnson.
Thank you. First, an honor to God, but let me just say thank you to Sadik's family. I've known him since we were young. We grew up together. Knew him by our oldest junior back in the day. When we were just young, I stayed on the 103rd Avenue in Budlong. They stayed on the 104th Avenue in Budlong. We went to elementary school, Woodcrest and Red Heart. And then we wind up, just as time I got in trouble, my mom moved up to Palmdale, Lancaster. So we got split up during that period of time. But I think the thing that really started Otis' life out and mine out was that the fact that we both, at age 14, too young to really be working, but we kind of fixed the paperwork, but we all started working for WLCAC. Worked in the marching first festival parade, carrying the picks and the shovels. That was our first job. But that's where we learned humility. That's how we learned to work together with each other. But more importantly, that's where we also began our careers, where we learned that community is everything. Family is everything. Yes. That we have that opportunity to get together. I'm so blessed to have this opportunity to be here today because Sadiki and I had lost contact for so long with each other. But when he called me at my office, I was like a little kid. The secretary brought a message in there and said, hey, some man called you, said you was his brother, y'all were raised together, and he wanted you to call him. It was Otis. And I just couldn't wait to get a hold to him and just talk to him. And we had the opportunity while he was sick to come down here to Long Beach or to Los Angeles to go visit him and talk to him. And some of the things that Otis said, we just what we used to do. We were both young men teenagers. Neither one of us had a girlfriend in junior high school. And I'm trying to coach him how to talk to a lady, and I didn't know how to talk to one myself. But we had that opportunity to get together and bond. But more importantly, I just want to say, it's important that no matter what walk of life that you come from, that you have that opportunity to get together. Otis went one way, I went another way. We both came back together. But these programs like WLCAC, these programs are about people, about uniting people, about putting them back together.
That's right.
And I want to encourage you that as you go, it don't matter what walk of life you came from, where you came from. I got to go. You know, we can always make it work.
That's right.
Yeah, we late, so we can't talk as long as we want. Okay. Comrade Sundi out of tape. We got history in the house. Also, Harold Weldon's going to speak.
Thank you. I'm just glad to be able to stand here and let you guys know how much I appreciate Jitu. I appreciate his dedication to helping people, helping those incarcerated, those locked behind the walls. Not only doing the help for those, but also working in the community, trying to make a difference in people's lives. This brother was one of the most dedicated people that I have ever known. I mean, he was sick, and a brother had died, and they was having a memorial service for him. Jitu had an infected feet, but he came all the way to the Bay Area from LA to honor this brother. He was just so committed to the cause, and no one that I've known in my life can beat that. They may equal that, but in my opinion, not beat it. This brother, he was just remarkable. On his deathbed, I mean, there were many times when I would hear from him, or someone would tell me that he was down and not able, and that he may be on his last legs. But that brother rallied so many times because he had a will to do the work, and he wanted to be around more. But eventually, it got him, and he's no longer here with us. I honor you, Jitu, and I'm glad that I had a chance to meet you. I'm glad I had a chance to receive from you some of the things that you did for me. I mean, this brother tried to put money in my pocket at times. I mean, he just was a giving person. Long live his memory.
Okay, next up, longtime comrade, a protector himself, one who kept, no, you sit here, you sit here. Got out of his place of rest to come pay respects. Yeah, 2 minutes.
My name is Ashiki. I'm a long-time comrade of Jitu Sadiki. I remember when they had the barbershop, the candy shop, the cafe, all that in one spot. One of these knuckleheads jumped on my uncle. What happened then? Jitu's always been bigger than me. The brother that jumped on my uncle was bigger than both of us. Jitu stood up and whooped their brother's butt. Then his homeboys riding around his whoop behind, and they were like, man, y'all got to move, man. Y'all got to find another spot. Man, that's so well. Then when I got this news that he was fighting this disease, I'm like, no, man, you ain't gonna lose. Sadiki never loses. At least in my life, Sadiki never loses. So then, here we are, battling again. I'm by your side, Comrade. I want you to know that. Standing right there by your side, never giving up. Give up for what? Give up for what? It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure dealing with you.
And this is a comrade who stood by Comrade Jitu, who protected the people. I've seen it in action. I've seen it. Thank you, Comrade Oshiki. Thanks so much. Okay, next, Asado Umoja.
Thank you. Good evening. I want to give a special thank you to the family for allowing this opportunity for Jitu. I first met Jitu, it must have been like in the early 80s when he had, I guess, recently been released again. And one of the things that amazed me about him was that, you know, he had this little quiet demeanor about him, but when he spoke, it sounded like the universe, like, ooh. You know, but even with that, you know, it amazed me how his humanity. He was raising 3 little boys, you know, and I was like, this is just absolutely amazing. But at the same time, he had this commitment, to deal with the issue of police abuse, to deal with the issue of ex-offender rights, and that he was just amazingly humble, and that he was willing to give his time. He was one of those people that he didn't finish with the subject until it was done. I mean, you'd be wanting to get off the phone, but no, he was not having it until every little detail was met, and so we give thanks for Brother Jitu and the example that he led, his humility. I mean, I remember going to him, speaking to him specifically about, I said, the brothers ain't necessarily doing right, Brother Jitu. And he said, we're going to have to fix that. I mean, so he was a brother that he wanted, justice and equality. And he was standing up to the last moment in terms of it. Visiting him at the hospital even, he was just amazingly humble in terms of, whatever it was that people, but he would let you know what he needed. If you said, I'm going to put this, I want that there. He would be very specific about what it was that he wanted. And we're just so privileged. I felt privileged to be in his space and to have an opportunity to know him, to work with him in Black August, Los Angeles, to work with him. He was also a person that attended early in the years. I was a part of New African People's Organization, which was an organization that also helped to address the issues of police abuse. But I give thanks for his presence. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Simon. That's a strong warrior right there. Sister Missouri. She said, never mind. You don't heard from her already. George Galvez.
I'm humbled and honored to share a few words about my brother Jitu Sadiki. Jitu passed away Labor Day weekend. I don't think that was a coincidence because he was a worker for the people his entire life.
Yes.
I can say that I've known thousands and thousands of organizers and activists, and Jitu was one of the very most principled, dedicated warriors I've ever known. I first met Jitu in 1996. He was working with Families to Amend 3 Strikes. He had BACDO, Black Awareness Community Development Organization, and had just won the California Peace Prize from the California Wellness Foundation. And then I got to know him a little bit better through the National Urban Peace and Justice Summits, which he was a co-chair of, along with our elder Nani Leandros, who will be speaking shortly. But it was about 20 years ago where I really got to build a deep and intimate personal relationship with Jitu that extended to beyond comrade, but family. It was at that time, Jitu was fighting for custody of his children, Nazir and Nasia. And he was coming to the Bay Area frequently as he was, fighting in family court. And he'd stay at my home. And we were both formerly incarcerated, single dads, fighting for the right to be fathers to our children. And he supported me through probably some of my darkest and most challenging moments. Some of y'all who've been down know what it is like to be a jailhouse lawyer. Jitu fought pro per his entire time in family court. So I want to talk not just about Jitu the activist, but I want to talk about Jitu the relative, because he was probably one of the most dedicated fathers I've ever known. I've never seen a man fight that hard to be a father to his children. And I think that's probably one of the most beautiful compliments we could ever bestow on someone. And I'm grateful to have him in my life. Jitu was a lowrider. He was really excited when I bought my first lowrider, a 1951 Chevy Fleetline. We talked about him coming down to Oakland and helping me fix it up. And I'm grateful to see the Supernaturals Car Club that he co-founded out here. So many aspects of G2's life represented in here. And the last thing I want to say, because they're doing me like the Apollo Theater right now, getting ready to pull me with the cane off the stage. I want to say thank you to Asada. I want to thank you. Thank my niece. Because when you are the child of an activist and a revolutionary, your family member is shared with that bigger movement and struggle with that movement family. And because he was so dedicated, he gave himself to so many people, she had to share her dad with so many. So all I can do is say thank you for your sacrifice, and I love you. Love you, Jitu.
Thank you, George. Thank you. Next is Kevin Twin.
Man, first, giving on to the higher power. Grateful for being here. Grateful for allowing me to come up here and speak. I grew up in the neighborhood with G2, and I envied everything he did, from afar, by walking to school, like taking our lunch money, and we going in the city to get some candy. 25 cents. I'm spending 10 cents just on candy, penny candy, fill my pockets up. But that was the pillar of our community. With his family. They were the first entrepreneurs from a black family that I seen, that I admired, and always wanted to emulate and be like. In saying so, growing up, watching play football, lifting weights, I modeled all that, copied the dog, did all that myself. And then growing up, they got a Cadillac, like you said, he used to like fixing Cadillacs because that was the youngest one, right? So I used to look at this Cadillac. I said, I'm gonna get that Cadillac one day. I go over there every day. So finally I got the money. I went over there. Hey man, G2, what you gonna give me this car for? What you got? This is what I got. He said, it's yours. You know what I mean? So that was a nice first Cadillac, ran like a champ, love the car. But in doing so, you meet people in your life that plant seeds. And he was one of them, that would plant seeds in our community with a lot of us, young men over there. In doing so, it got me doing this activist work. I didn't plan on it, but I guess it was part of his plan seed that he left behind. So I am the executive director for Advocates of Peace and Urban Unity. Yes, give it up. And in doing so, and it's out the west of my community. Over there, I grew up. We put an article that's called Death Alley, that community, but we done changed the landscape, and we over there saving lives. But doing so, he introduced me to some men that he wanted to be a part of a movement. So while he was on this bed, his life bed, I ain't gonna call it death bed, I'm gonna call it his life bed, his transitional bed, he introduced me to people that wanted me to correspond with. So I'm here and I'm available for when everybody might need me. I'm here for the movement. I'm dedicated to it. I'm not 30% in the streets, 70%. I'm 100% committed to this work and saving our people. But before I get off this mic, there was one thing that I know that he was detrimental about, and that was us as black men is not killing each other. Why is it so damn hard for us to stop killing each other? That's a question we have to look at each other and honor that, because one thing we know he stood for is not hurting our people. So why do we get this far to where we can't look at our next brother without killing him? How do we get to a point in life where we're not taking care of our sisters and our mothers in our community? How are we letting young people come in our community and do harm to our ancestors? To our elders, the women, period. The women, period, in our community should never be touched by it. But thanks for letting me share.
To the Smith family, to his daughter, I never had the pleasure of meeting you because I was out the country, but I'm back. Your father. It's about probably 50% of the people in here that grew up around the corner, down the street, next door. We all here for him. But for me personally, I stayed around the corner. I think Big Brother G2 is like, what's his name? How old is G2? 67. He got me about 4 years. Papa Smith, Brenda, Tamasha, Isanta, Coco, Evelyn, Elaine, Shay, my guy, Curly, Ray, DeAndre, Diasha. I've been knowing them all my life that your father, the man that stands before you today, me and your father used to fight. He wanted more than I knew that I had in me to give. He told me to say it loud, that I was black and I was proud. But I said, Jitu, that's not who I am. Today, after coming here and seeing these queens and soldiers, I finally understood today what my real purpose was. It was to unite. It was to unite and bring back dignity in a community that I serve and I still serve today. Unbeknownst to me, I tried to walk away and said, let my past be my past. But when I came here today, he told me to unite, girl. Unite in all fractions of life, to unite. And I want you to know that if anything that I can do for you, I'm going to leave you my number. That's your family who I am. My family been a pillar just like the Smith family. Twins spoke of entrepreneurship. I don't even know how to govern. I don't even know how to protect. That wasn't my field, but today, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a CEO. You dig what I'm saying? I will forever, for G2, continue to liberate from the hells of the belly of that beast to freedom because of your father. And I want you to know that.
Greetings. My name is Sundiata Shakur. I'm of this family right here. But I just want to say first and foremost that I'm just elated today to be amongst the beautiful women, the kings, the babies, and all this community. This is what this dude has generated. This is what he's brought together. Freedom fighters, revolutionaries. You might have seen my name on the thing. I'm his little brother, Mac, basically. That's what he called me, his little brother. And I didn't realize the jewel that I had in my life until Lennox Sheriffs had me in front of his house one day, knocked me off my bike, told me to put my face on that hood. And I just seen this big figure come out the front yard with his camcorder. Y'all know the one I'm talking about. And he was like, why are y'all detaining him? And they whispered to themselves, the cowards that they are, the pigs, as he so eloquently put. That's Otis the activist. I say, nah, that's my big brother, G2. A couple of people spoke on the foundation of the corner where Smitty's barbecue shop, the candy shop and all that, because that's where it began for a lot of us. When my mother couldn't feed me, when we wasn't doing bad in my household on 104th Street, I went around the corner to Smitty's because I know I'd give me some chili cheese fries, you know what I'm saying, with the quarter and little change that I had in my pocket. And when I got older and started getting in a little more trouble and Big Bro was still trying to reach out to me going, bro, you a king. We are the revolutionaries. This is who we are. You need to study George Jackson. You need to study Mandela and Malcolm. You need to get into yourself and understand that you're African first. And then, like my brother said, we won't hate each other. You feel me? But I'm not going to take much time. I don't want to shake me on the thing too, but I just wanted to thank the Smith family for allowing him to be in my life, to make me a man and a father. My oldest son name is Sadiki. You know why? with that, I hope we continue to do this not on a down. This is an uplifting day. Pardon me. Pardon me. I love y'all.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
Next up, did we get Droopy? Well, you're supposed to be up here. Huh? Okay, well, come on now. We ain't got time. Let's go. Let's go.
Matt, get in this picture.
I'm Droopy.
That's right.
I don't prefer that name no more. I go by Hakeem. Most of these guys that probably had these little conference calls with Jitu, y'all probably heard him call me Rodney, Droopy, and Hakeem. Sometimes that confused people. One minute he be like, Rodney, you gonna do this? And they like, well, who the hell is Rodney? Then he'd be like, well, Droopy gonna come and do this. Well, who the hell is Droopy? Yeah. And so that's me. I'm all three of those names. One of the things I wanted to speak on, and I think is kind of important, is like some of the brothers spoke on. I was violent. We had a really violent upbringing, and G2 used to always be in our ear about stopping the violence. And for a long time, it didn't register. But he stayed speaking, and now I get it. I understand. So what I want to say is we need to keep talking to the youth. We need to keep speaking about nonviolence.
That's right.
They may not get it today. They may not get it next year. At some point, they're going to get it. And then you're going to be able to see a gathering like this where I don't know who's up in here. But you know what? We're all brothers up in here. And we all got that message. Let's kind of stop the violence, and hopefully through something like this, we can build bridges. The bridges that he was trying to build, maybe we can build them then, I'm with that idea. I support that idea, so keep talking to the youth. That's what he's about. Because the youth are our foundation.
That's right.
We're the pillars because we're older. Pushing 60, some are but beyond that. I ain't know some of these brothers that was up here. 20, Sam, Matt, I ain't know them brothers, but we get the point, that if we keep speaking to our youth, they'll get it. And believe me, I'm speaking to them. They are listening. They'll repeat back to you when you start talking to them and you've told them this message before. When they start telling you what you told them already, know that they heard you. And just keep speaking to them and keep speaking to them and keep speaking to them. And at some point, they're going to get it. Me and you never spoke, but I was at your father's bed in Hawthorne every day. Every day. Feeding him that garbage that he called food, rabbit food. But what was that vegan diet? That's the time. But that's what the brother wanted, and that's what we would have got. So I was there with him, and I'll say this, but your father never told you. I'm not for speaking. I'm not for all the political stuff. I'm more military. So if you understand what that means, call me. It got to be about some military stuff because that's really all I understand. So if y'all in here, know that. If you need me, that's what I'm about. But let's make it about it being about something serious and meaningful.
We gonna call him. We gonna call him.
Yes, sir.
All right now.
I got you. I'm smart. That's just not my thing.
I don't have a cane, and I no tap dance, so I can't say that.
Oh, and I know long too, so if you need that help too,
Soldier Denise.
Let me clear my voice. This is no ordinary love.
Come on.
No ordinary love. Okay, that's all I was doing. I had to get that in because he already got nothing but last thing I told you too. I said, you're going to be so mad when you wake up on the other side and my higher self going to be like, I've known Jitu like forever. I want to say some things. I want to take my 2 minutes and where's Sai? Sai, you spend 16, 17 hours a day. James. Droopy, where'd Droopy go? Droopy. It was not those were the brothers representing my community, and I'm the female version that y'all get. Amen. I just want to say, y'all, this village pulled together, baby. This village pulled together, and Jitu needed somebody round the clock. Kim McGill heard that Jitu was sick, and from that time, she was there every single day, all night, spending all night. So I want to take a couple of seconds of mine and just say to you guys, Jitu brought me. I'm from the streets. I wasn't from the Panthers or an organization that, well, it kind of was, but Jitu brought me into a family. He brought me into people that genuinely love you, that do stuff like this, and family don't have to do nothing but just be still. That's the type of love that we have. I think what Jitu wants for us to do is to move forward and yes, focus on the children. We must focus on the children. And I'm talking from 2 years old, as soon as they can walk, y'all need to bring them to us and let us start educating and let us start developing their minds. Because no matter what, this is the weapon that our babies need. Not the ones in the hand, but here, because can't nobody take that from us. So that's what we need. I have something from Brother Leon Jordan. Brother Leon, when Jitu was sick, we had to go pack his house up. And I mean, when I tell you about this village, Jitu was sick in the hospital and people pulled together. We went over there and packed up his house, put it in storage. People that love him. That's no ordinary love. But that's who we are as a village. And even though all of us don't know each other, we know each other through Jitu. Right. Because if he loves you, then you the bomb. No, really, you give out the same love. That's how it is. Love draws love. You know what in it? I am so, you know that's so bad, huh? Sorry, y'all. We go all on live stream. They're gonna be like, that's so just something. Okay, let me read this. This from Brother Leon Jordan. He said, to my bro in life struggle, your spirit, your dedication, plus understanding of what we need was always delivered with such grace and patience and undaunted, victorious silence, power, peace, friendship, and solidarity. There were a lot of people that sent us things that we couldn't get into. Those of you who are out there on the live stream, we apologize, but we're not apologizing, but we tried to get everybody in that we could. And if yours wasn't, please forgive me. I'll take responsibility. Please forgive me. One more thing that I wanted to mention was that Jitu and I have been friends for years and years and years. And the reason that I came out singing is because he didn't like my voice. And before my voice changed, we would be, many of us have been
we would be up late at night talking on the phone. We would sing, but when my voice changed, he'd be like, "I'm gonna hang up on you if you sing," and I keep on singing, and I'm like, and he's like, "I'm gonna hang up on you," and I said, "You ain't gonna quit." But I love you, Baba. Thank y'all.
Jitu was in the hospital, and I was leaving. This was some years ago. Denise, she already knew a bed. She slept on a bed on the floor. That's a dedicated comrade right there. Okay, and please, if you're gonna, for the remaining speakers, please try to keep it tight because the family got to speak. The family got that last half hour. Okay. All right, so Jerry Silva, where you at? Come on.
I know he didn't chop up Jerry. He gonna run.
Hey everyone, this is a day I never ever wanted to happen to me. I never wanted this to happen. And I know most of you didn't want it to happen. Where's my God? Oh, there you are, child. You're so, I brought Thandisizwe with me and he's gonna share my time. I wanna say that Jitu and I are each other's memories. I knew everything and everyone he knew. I know his family from the kids on up, from when they were very little. He loved his family. His family was everything to him. So we should never mistake that about him. I know his comrades were too, but he and I were close in a very different way, I think, than anybody else. We shared a lot together. We were in the Communist Labor Party together. I bet none of you knew that. We were in the League of Revolutionaries together. We started the radio show, Think Outside the Cage, together. We talked every day on my way to work and on my way back to work. He moved next door and he was my neighbor. And that was like such a happy day for me. It really meant everything. I asked Thandisizwe to come up here. I heard about him through Jitu. He's one of the brothers that was in the SHU in Pelican Bay for over 30 years, who participated in the hunger strike and nearly died. And I heard about him during that time because I said his name and Jitu said, "Oh, that's my boy." So I want my boy to say something, Joe.
First off, for those who don't know, me and Jitu from a generation that was responsible for a lot of the death and the destruction that you see in our community today. But when we went to prison, it brought about a transition in both of our lives. Because once upon a time, we were enemies. What prison did to us, it showed that, hey, we all belong to the same family. And from that family, from 1977 until now, it lived on. Jitu was by my side all the years of our incarceration. And he never fought. And he's one of the few brothers that ever got out of prison that stayed true to the struggle until the end. He never wavered in his commitment. Like she said earlier about the SHU, I did 31 years in the SHU. You know, that's the security housing unit, it's the whole. But I did 44 years in prison. And from them 44 years, when I got out, it was a blessing to be out here with Jitu. The only problem is I was up north. If I had been down here, I would have met all his family members. I would have met all the people that he was tied to down here. I communicated with Jerry behind the walls. She was a blessing. Jitu is still a blessing. Because like I said earlier, Jitu did not tell people what to do. He did not tell people what not to do. But he tried to set the proper example for all of them to live. And for me, I'm trying to set the proper example today. I'm trying to do the things that, hey, Jitu was doing out here. Because what we learned behind the walls is this: the true struggle is out here. And this is where we need it, and this is where we're going to remain. So, in honor of Jitu, you know, can't stop, won't stop.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
On the tune.
My name is Olatunji Shamari. That name, Jitu gave me that name in prison in 1990. I met Jitu and Chino in 1990. Me and another comrade by the name of Gerald Reed, we were on the yard, running the back door on the yard, and Jitu pulled up, and Gerald would say, "Hey, wait till Jitu get here. We're gonna have some structure now." I'm like, listen to this person with a G and a 2 with his name, not knowing it was, J-I-T-U, it was Swahili. But once we connected, we connected. He pulled me in. We were cellies the whole time. I had a regimen of study, exercise. I read every book that he got in. I had to read. It was mandatory reading. Sada Shakur, Malcolm X, Blood in My Eye, every revolutionary book that we got, People's Tribune, all that stuff. It was mandatory reading. So from there, we came out in 91, 92, and me and him co-founded Back Door on the Streets. We got our first grant from Liberty Hill Foundation, and we began to move. We were on 43rd and Normandy at the time, working with Mothers Rock, with Jerry's organization, Mothers Reclaiming Our Children, way back in the day. So me and G2 go way back. And we always stayed in contact with him. I met his family, I met his mom, I met Tamasha, Shay. We've been through it. I remember the time when none of us had kids. Me, him, and Fanya. Me, him, and Fanya Baruti. We were real close, all three of us. And then we all ended up at the same time having kids. We were all happy. And in the last days, we spoke about revising Back Door. And I want to let him know now, brother, Back Door is revised. I need y'all help. I need help. I need volunteerism, ideals, anything that can help us continue forward with Back Door, keeping its legacy alive. That's my promise to my brother. He's my brother. When I would go to the hospital, and he would always tell the nurses, "That's my adopted son. That's my son." And that made me feel really good. That's how he would introduce me. I was his adopted son. With that, that's it.
Okay, next up. Now, there's a chant that was said sometimes at Black August meetings, especially when some people were present. And I think it's appropriate right now. Long live the gorilla. Long live the gorilla. Long live the gorilla.
Long live the gorilla.
Long live the gorilla.
Long live the gorilla.
Brother Harold Taylor. Comrade Harold Taylor.
My condolences to Jitu's family. I joined the Black Panther Party in 1967, right here in Los Angeles. Matter of fact, I used to swim in this swimming pool when they used to call this Will Rogers Park back in 1961. So I met Jitu a few years ago. And I want to say that Jitu was an exceptional man. I've been a political prisoner, and Jitu has been working in behalf of political prisoners all across the country. His name is known throughout the country by many members of the Black Panther Party, former members and members that's still in prison, that Jitu have worked in behalf of freeing those political prisoners. We still have political prisoners and Black Panthers in prison today. We have some that just got out recently that's served up to 50 and 60 years. Myself, I've never been to prison, but I've been a victim of police brutality. I've been shot by the police. I've been tortured. And I've been in prison for murder on a police officer in San Francisco that happened over 40 years ago. But yet and still, if it wasn't for people like Jitu that came to the forefront and continue to fight on behalf of political prisoners, because we have many that's still sitting there today. We have Leonard Peltier. He's been in prison since the early 60s, since the 70s. He's been in there. We have Bomia, who's been in prison in Philadelphia for murder on a police officer. He's been in there for the last 40 years. And we still have H. Rap Brown. I can't remember his Muslim name, but I want to say that he's still in prison. And we still have political prisoners in this country. And we need to acknowledge them. The fact that they do exist, and we can't abandon them, because Jitu is, but I don't like quoting the Bible, but I will say this about Jitu and people like him: many were called, few were chosen. And he was a chosen few. And my heart and my love goes to the family of Jitu and all political prisoners and their family. Free all political prisoners. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all.
Thank you, Comrade Taylor. Brother Arthur Thandi.
I'm not going to take up much of your time. What I'd like you to do is kind of look at each other real quick. And I want you to imagine that you're in a place that you cannot get out of. You cannot go home. You cannot see your family. What that does to people is in some ways not something you can measure. To experience it, it's really clear. Now imagine yourself willing to get away from it, to walk out the door, to not have to turn around and look back. If you would turn around and look back and remember that experience and do everything in your power to make sure that the people who are left back there get whatever support is needed to have the experience to do what they just did, was walk out. You know Jitu. I don't have to introduce you to him because that's who he is. The other thing, if you can't take anything else with you, take this. We all are our first lines of defense. If we're not, we have none. And if we have none, we'll end up in the condition that we're in today, basically. That needs to change. So leave here and go where you go. But understand that you can take the responsibility of understanding that we are our first lines of defense and move in that direction. So my understanding of G2 is different. I was in prison quite a bit before G2 was in prison. And when I got out, I had a responsibility to the people that I left organizationally and began to try to free the people who had rebelled. And I ran into this brother named G2. Over the years, I watched him. I saw him struggle for people. He named his daughter Asada. My daughter was named Asada, and they're she's about 13 years older than G2's Asada. How you doing, sis? All right. So I don't want to take your time. Just support each other, support the cause, support the movement, and free them all.
Free them all.
So we're running short on time. Harold, please come up. Don't do no Miles Davis stuff. Don't do no John Coltrane stuff. Just come up here. If you can cut it down to a minute, people will shower you with affection.
If I go over a minute, you can snatch me off the stage. I met G2 in 2008, Black August, Los Angeles. G2, the first impression of G2 was he knew about Black August and the tradition. And I had never met a comrade like that until then. G2 was a very funny, humorous person. We had an ongoing thing about a 63 candy apple Chevy. That was my future brother-in-law's Chevy. And somebody borrowed it, right? So in passing G2, did you know about that? Because the people that observed the car, he didn't take it, I'm just talking. They said that the person had a deep voice. No, comrade, that was an impersonator. And so we'd go back and forth and said, G2, didn't I come up near your house one time and saw you in that Chevy? No, comrade, I keep telling you those are impersonators. But G2 was, like I said, was funny. And condolences to his family, sending light to Asada. She's been through a lot. His daughter has been through a lot. Finally, I'll say this about G2. His commitment was unmatched, inside and outside. I love you, brother. The last thing you told me was we had gotten a phone from somebody in prison. And he said, at the end of the conversation, he said, G-Love. I never heard of that. Afterwards, I said, G2, what that mean? That means gorilla love. So gorilla love, G-Love, G2. Right on.
Okay, we're coming down to the line. Now we got Alejandres. There you go.
Good afternoon, relatives. I want to just say the spirituality of G2 and how I met G2 and what we prayed about, talked about. Right now, I represent Barrios Unidos and many others, and we're all over the country. There's Chicanos in Washington, D.C., in New York, in Albuquerque, in Chicago, all Northern California, and a lot of Chicanos in Southern California, in San Diego. They know that we're here today. And G2 brought a lot of us together. We worked on the Kansas City Peace Summit in 1993. I was the co-chair for the Chicanos in that set. And my carnal, that's where I met my carnal G2. I used to call him carnal. In Chicano language, carnal is very affectionate. It's like you're my brother. So we talked about carnalismo, brotherhood. And I think that right now, we need brotherhood. We've lost too many relatives to brown people killing brown people, black people killing black people. We got to stop.
That's right.
And some of those youngsters are not coming up. So we have to call back the elders, the grandmas, to come out to the streets.
That's right.
So I have this thing, grandfathers, grandmothers for peace. And a lot of times we're at the park and everybody's over 60. So there's a gap there. We got to go back and bring them in. So G2, I think, did that to the end. And, he called me just a week or so before he passed. He says, Donnie, we got to keep going. I had just done a radio show with him. And it was just like I sat down, it was like this feeling. I told my wife, that is one of the most solid brothers I've ever known. And to this day, So blessings to the family and my brother G2 and everybody here, all my relations. Cool.
The general authority ended because we're supposed to go to the family, but there are two people who sent messages from Georgia, comrades of G2. So if we could just, those two messages on the screen.
Reaching out to offer our condolences to the family, community, and comrades of Baba Jitu Sadiki. He's a comrade I have the highest respect for. I met Jitu when we were both younger men in the early 1980s. And I know and I pray that the ancestors greet Baba Jitu with a hero's salute as he travels home to be amongst his family in the spirit world, to be amongst the circle of comrades. Jitu's contribution to our people to bring peace in the streets, to educate many of us about the tradition of Black August, to represent and continue the legacy and tradition of the comrades he struggled with inside of the penitentiary, but bringing that spirit of resistance home to us in the streets is should always be remembered. We must always remember his name in a libation, and we must teach our children about the important contributions of Baba Jitu Sadiki. And so his name will live with our people forever. So we salute him. Free the land, free them all. Black August resistance. One love.
That's right.
Next is Watani Tayemba, who used to live in Los Angeles, who went to prison looking for Mutulu Shakur, and who was Tupac's manager and facilitated his affairs. So when he mentions Tupac, you know about it.
Free land. My name is Watani Tayemba. I offer my condolences to Jitu Sadiki's family and his comrades. I have known and worked with this brother for many years, and he's always been consistent and disciplined. He's a new African freedom fighter, and that's how he's viewed in this gigantic image that he carries with him. His name means giant. He had a gigantic heart, as you know, it was manifested through the love he showed for people. But Jitu didn't just talk the talk, he walked the walk.
That's right.
As a co-founder of Black August in 1979, while behind the walls, he saw that once released, he continued those revolutionary principles of unity, self-sacrifice, political education, physical training throughout the remainder of his time on Earth. Jitu was a unifier and a network. He developed principal work relationships with all sectors of our people and other oppressed revolutionary forces. His work with various street organizations should be commended. When Pac had beef with the 60s, I took him to go see Jitu, and I'm not sure what Jitu did after that, but the issue got resolved by this gentle child. Let's keep the principles and the work that Jitu did in our collective memories and forever hold his name up and the work that he's done. Free land.
Free land.
Okay, so the family. Yeah. Let's bring the family. And Sister Muriel has something to say. Okay. So family not moving.
I just basically wanted to say, give my condolences to the family, which is all of us, because we're all family, we are all one. And so I just wanted to give this short poem that I think reflects what many of us feel about what's going on today and the actions that we must take. It's by Claude McKay. If we must die, let it not be like hogs, hunted and pinned in an inglorious spot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mark at our accursed lot. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. Then even the monsters, Republicans, we defy shall be constrained to honor us, though dead. Oh, kinsmen, we must meet. What must we meet? The common foe, and for their 1,000 blows, we must deal one death blow. What though before us lies the open grave, like men and women will face the murderous, cowardly pack. Press to the wall, dying, but fighting back. Always fighting back. Like Harriet said, be free or die. Peace and love.
That's right.
I'm just here to support my mom, which is Jitu Sister Tamasha. I'm her oldest daughter, Kawani. And Jitu was like a father to me. He was my father. My dad wasn't present in my life, and so he was the best thing. When he had his own daughter, I just knew how lucky she was because he was amazing. Everything from playing with Barbies with me. Like, what big guy like him plays with Barbies, right? But he was my protector. I would dare any guy to hurt my feelings because I'm calling my Uncle G2, you know. Even on his deathbed, I asked him about my car, and he literally told me how to fix my Mercedes. I mean, he was sick, barely breathing. He's like, do this, do that. Don't go to this man. Don't go to the white man. He gonna probably. I'm like, Uncle, it's the mechanic. But he literally was like, I'll tell you to do. Because I know he knew how to break down a car. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so upset, but I'm so happy that he's at peace. Because he was struggling for it. He fought a good fight. I was there recording him, and he fought a good fight. The whole time, we talked and talked and talked, but I'm so angry because I still have questions. He was the smartest man I knew. Anybody who talked to him, you thinking, how can you become a lawyer? You didn't even go to law school. Like, how do you know everything? He read so many books. He told me everything, and I have no one to talk to. So I asked, you comrades, you know what I mean? I need an adoptive dad because he's gone now. And my siblings, my brothers, they have their own father, but he was a father to everybody, our whole family. He stood for us. He was the oldest man in our family left. And I asked everybody to pray for Asada because Asada, unfortunately, has lost both of her parents in a matter of weeks apart. I could not imagine. He's only my uncle, but that's her dad and her mom in weeks. So the strength that she's gonna need, please, you guys, after today, still call her, still text her, still ask her if she's okay, because that's hard. Okay? I'm gonna let my mom go ahead and talk. I'm just here to hold her up. I didn't expect to talk because I knew this is too hard for me. But thank you guys for coming on and supporting. You guys did an amazing job of coming on and supporting. I haven't seen a lot of y'all in years since I was a little girl. So thank you so much. You two would have been so proud. He would have been so happy. Because this is what he do. He comes to everybody's events. He shows up sick. It don't matter what. He's gonna come out with a cane, leather jacket. You know what I mean? He did everything for everybody. And we're gonna definitely miss him. So thank you again, you guys.
How y'all doing? I'm my Uncle G2, his sister Tamasha, her youngest son. Just want to say a few words. I know we running short on time. First of all, I just want to thank everybody who came up and spoke because I didn't know the depths of what my uncle did. We all kind of knew him as being a, real Black conscious, but I didn't know the depths of all the things he did. So I appreciate everybody who came up and spoke. Just wanted to say, man, my uncle was one of the strongest Black men we've ever known. Like my sister said, I had my father in the house, but when my Uncle G2 came, when his presence alone, you knew it was something different about him. Then when he spoke, and then with that deep voice, you already know it's really. Yeah. Well, I was going to say, man, all the things that he's done in his life, he still took the time to put in time with all of his nieces and nephews, from putting us into sports, taking us camping, taking us fishing. He's missed. The desert jam to where, yeah, he liked to call it the desert jam, even though we call it the summer jam. But he even bust out people from the community all the way to Yucca Valley. just remember having conversations with him telling me childhood stories about my mom getting him in trouble. You know, from him singing Erykah Badu, knowing the entire album, word for word. I couldn't believe that. But today, especially today, and hearing all the things that he did for the community, let's celebrate him. Let's celebrate the things he stood for and the life he lived. I want to say I love you, Uncle Jitu, and like you told me and my brothers, try to keep the family tradition going.
Hello, everybody. So much, so many memories. Jitu gave me Tamasha in '81, because when he first went to prison, I was devastated. So I want to know exactly what he was going through. So he's telling me the books to read. Angela Davis, George Jackson. I was listening to Last Poets, Black Voices Off the Streets of Watts. You know, I became real militant. So I felt like I rode with him the 7 years that he did time. The things he went through when he was in the hole, and I kept his name alive on the streets, and everybody knew who my brother was, you know. And I met a lot of his friends from Black August. You know, he just turned me on to a lot of his friends and a lot of people, and he wanted me to do some work for him, but at the time I was raising my 5 babies, but I've always tried to stand strong with him. You know, I believed in the same things he believed in, and he started a lot. Yeah, he started the Supernaturals. And when he started the Supernaturals in '72, you know, it was like the hottest club around, you know. Everybody wanted to be in the Supernaturals. And he was a leader, but he didn't want to be one. So he gave leadership to somebody else, you know, one of the guys. And he put in time with all of our kids. He's the first one to put all the boys in football. You know, he made sure he put time in with his nephews before he had any kids. And in the hospital, talking to him, he was so strong in his fight. You know, it's times that he felt like he couldn't make it, you know, so me and mine, we came out and we strengthened him, you know, brother, we here for you, we love you. You know, he wanted to go to the other side. I'm like, no, you don't see that light over there. Stay here with us, you know. He fought a strong fight. This is my second brother. My first brother, you know, the police took him in '85. Damu used to be a Black Panther. And I see his struggle, got out, you know, went to Southwest College, started making jewelry, came out with his own business. So when Jitu got out, Damu had hooked Jitu up. So they didn't really get a chance to even like spend a good year or so together before the police took him. So that's been Jitu's fight against the police with my brother Damu. But my brothers are gone. So yeah, the fight continues. And I believe in everything he believed in, you know, and he's right here forever and right here. So I'm gonna try to do him justice because he wanted me to do his autobiography. So nobody know him better than me. So thank you.
Thank you.
we have any time left? Okay. There were some people who wanted to speak, and the tough program was tight. But if anybody else wants to speak, please. Again, thank you to the family. And I want to make sure that we understand that this is Jitu's first family. But he had other families. He had the Black August family.
That's right.
And he had other families. And we have to honor his work.
That's right.
With all of his families. Sister Zuri.
I don't want to repeat what everybody has said. Dedicated to the max. That's all I can say. Serious. He even scared me sometimes when I came into the meetings. Okay, that's how serious he is. But anyway, I wanted to announce, one, we want to thank Sister Muriel for all of her hard work to making sure we were fed today. And there are extra plates we want you to pick up if you want to take food home, if you want to take waters home, if you want to take lemonade. There are extras. We don't want to throw anything away. We will pass it out in the community if we have to, but we want to make sure folks here do not leave without being fed and taking some food and refreshments home. Also, there are extra programs. Beautiful pictures were put together in that program. And so take some programs home with y'all. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Greetings. My Swahili name is Watani. Jitu was my comrade on the streets and in prison. He was a no-nonsense kind of guy. He never wavered in his beliefs or the things that he would share with you. He lived it, to the fullest. And he was also, at one point, like my brother-in-law. Him and my sister were together. He named my sister Aziza. And my nephew, right now, is a very successful 30-year-old man because of that guy, Jitu. Of what he put and instilled in my nephew. My nephew's a rapper. He got his own beer out now, up north. And he's living. He's an example of what Jitu and what everybody here talked about today. My nephew is. He's 30 years old and he's doing wonderful. He's never been in the gang. He never had the desire. None of that. He moved up north, and he's doing great. And it's because of Jitu, and I appreciate him. Not only do I love him as my comrade, but I love him as my nephew's surrogate father. And all glory and honor goes to God through me. And I salute the family, and thank you guys for sharing him with me. Thank you.
Okay, greetings. My name is Tabidi Umoja. I'll let the elders speak first.
That's right.
Okay, Mo cusses, so excuse me if he does.
I love it.
I'd like to share with you guys
Listen up.
a song that's about us, and particularly we've heard all the good stories and talk about Jitu and how he spent his whole life making sacrifices so that we can live. So this song is dedicated to him, to his children. It's a song that we've sung in a run that I participated in for the last 32 years. It's called Little Tokyo, the 250-mile Little Tokyo to advance our spiritual unity and prayer. So this song is a song that was given to me in a vision for us many years ago.
So let me just share with you. First four verses are in Japanese. The last two are in English, and to the 6 cardinal directions. この道は長いです。この道は長いです。足伸ばして一歩一歩、遠いところにも歩ける。この道は長いです。この道は長いです。心を開いて歩きましょう。
English.
この道は長いです。この道は長いです。足伸ばして一歩一歩、遠いところにも歩ける。この道は長いです。この道は長いです。手でつないで歩きましょう。この道は長いです。この道は長いです。足伸ばして一歩一歩、遠いところにも歩ける。この道は長いです。この道は長いです。心を開いて歩きましょう。この道は長いです。この道は長いです。足伸ばして一歩一歩、遠いところにも歩ける。この道は長いです。この道は長いです。手でつないで歩きましょう。This red road is a long one. This red road is a long one. Take each step, one by one. Even far places can be reached in this way. This red road is a long one. This red road is a long one. Come pick up your spirits and walk it with me.
Whoa.
This red road is a long one. This red road is a long one. Take each step, one by one. Even far places can be reached in this way. This red road is a long one. This red road is a long one. Come take my hand and walk it with me. Free the land and all power to the people.
All power to the people!
All right. My condolences to the family. Jitu, first of all, my name is Jitu Sadiki. I'm a teacher at Marcus Garvey School, and I've met Jitu back in '96. I went to the Peace Summit in 1997 in Kansas City. And I'm a health practitioner, so I was there to try to keep the brothers strong. And I just want to mention the fact that Brother Jitu, he had organized at the 1997 Peace Summit, and before we went out there, we had so many brothers that were killed in Kansas City in '96. And so in '97, these brothers went to the streets and got these brothers a truce. All while we were down there was a truce in '97, and this brother was an intricate part. And this brother was just a good brother. Even there was times when I was in the wrong neighborhood, and one time I was at a gas station. He said, "Brother, you know there was a shooting there last night?" And I said, "Let me get my gas real quick, get up out of here." But that brother, he was there for us. And one of the things I learned about that Peace Summit when I went with those brothers is that if brothers from LA could come to Kansas City and stop the violence going on there, they could do it here as well. So we need to push for what that brother left, and let's keep it moving. I'm a relative of Geronimo Jajagas. When we went to the Peace Summit, Geronimo talked to us through speakerphone, and he basically said that what you guys are doing, you need to keep on doing that type of work. And so the family, I want you to know that Brother Jitu is still here. He's here in spirit, so we're gonna keep that spirit moving. I'll tell you.
Thank you, everybody, for giving me a chance to speak. Thank you, Tamasha, for giving me a blessing to speak. When I met Jitu, I was a rambunctious young girl running around with the new Black Panther Party, Black Riders, and I had met his nephew. And I started that, okay, forget that story. Let me get straight to it, because I never know what I'm going to say until I say it. So every time I needed somebody to talk to and actually listen my point of view, even when that point of view grinded gears, Jitu listened to me. You know, he connected me to the right people to get solutions to problems that need to be fixed. And he gave my daughter her first volleyball, and now she's the star player at her high school. And she's killing the game, and I really appreciate him for that. I'm not good with all the emotional stuff. I'm good with the happier stuff, the lighter side of life and whatnot, but he was the voice of God. He's like, when we did speak, it used to be for hours, and I used to really appreciate the time he took to just like put that energy in me, and not, because for a while we felt so alone. We felt isolated, and it was just us by ourselves in the world, me and my children. And it just felt alone, but he always was that lifeline and bridge back to the family and back to the community. And when I came here and I see all the people that he has inspired, touched, and moved in any type of way, it brought me back home, and I'm grateful for that. 2 minutes.